All right. Well, while President Trump dukes it out with Harvard, he's simultaneously championing other alternatives. Trump saying he wants to redirect some $3 billion in grants from Harvard to trade schools across the country.
And I'd rather see that money go to trade schools. And by the way, they're totally anti-Semitic at Harvard, as you know, and some other colleges, too, in all fairness to them.
Well, a new bipartisan bill in Congress is also looking to give these types of schools a real boost. The Freedom to Invest in Tomorrow's Workforce Act, as it's called, would allow Americans to use 529 funds, a tax-deferred savings account, for education expenses to pay for training programs. Here now is co-sponsor of that bill, Republican Oklahoma Congressman Kevin Hearn. Congressman Hearn, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
It's great to be with you.
There are some folks in this country that agree with Trump and feel like these Ivy League colleges, they are woke, they're out of touch. Here's Mike Rowe, the blue-collar advocate himself, though. Here's what he had to say about trade schools.
There's nothing magical about trade schools. I love them, but they're great ones and okay ones and some that fall below, right? You can't just give money to schools any more than you can give it to any random person.
So how would you make sure the cash is being spent wisely?
Well, again, it's taxpayer money that we're talking about. It's either foregoing of taxes or giving dollars directly to these schools. And they've got to have outcomes where people who graduate. Many years ago, I went to trade school when I was in high school, learned how to draw blueprints, and helped me pay for my engineering degree. Some 2 years later, paid my way through school, ended up with some student debt that I paid off myself. So these trade schools today, ironically, I just met with a trade school where pipe fitters and welders and electricians train their folks to have, a growing of their experiences. So they do it at night. They work full day shifts, for their plumbing companies or for their pipe fitter companies, and then come and learn how to get better skills. And we've got to see these outcomes. That was obviously a union shop, but we have great trade schools here in Oklahoma, and we've got to make sure that these outcomes are people that are getting great jobs and not just people who are standing up businesses to get funding.
Hey, look, it's a great story. Trade school to pay for your engineering degree, and now you're a congressman. So it's great. The Harvard Crimson found that over 90% of its staff at Harvard donated to Democrats ahead of this past election. So let's dive into this, too. I'd love to hear what you would recommend for your children or your grandchildren if you have either one or will in the future. What's your choice? If they had Harvard on one side and a trade school on the other, both were, going to accept them, which one would you tell them to pick?
Well, again, I've said since I've been in Congress for 6 years, having been in business for almost 40 now, across multiple businesses, all small business, that you need to learn how to have a skill, because you never know when industry is going to change, when you're going to have another COVID and your entire industry that you trained in is being wiped out. Learn a skill, learn how you can get a job that you can make great money, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year coming out of school, no debt, and then you can decide what your future might be. Very few kids, and I say kids, that come out of high school know what they're going to do in 4 years. And that's why we see runaway student debt, only second to mortgages in America. And that's why we saw the Biden administration trying to give away taxpayer dollars to pay off these debts so schools like Harvard and others could raise their tuition even higher.
All right, so let me put a quick point on it. Learn a skill, then go to Harvard, or what do you say?
Learn a skill, go to Harvard. Learn a skill, go to the Naval Academy. Learn a skill, go somewhere, but learn how to make sure you can take care of yourself.
Okay, let's get to this as well. A recent headline from McDonald's. Let's talk about the economy. They just announced that they've had their biggest quarterly drop since the pandemic, and they're pointing to uncertainty from Trump's tariffs. At one point, I understand you owned a couple dozen McDonald's. What do you think this says about consumer confidence when even fast food is floundering?
Well, again, I talk to my former colleagues often, and it's a variety of things. It's, first and foremost, it's that the fact that the inflation has caught up with everyone and the prices are so high and we've come to a breaking point. America wants to see certainty. Listen, 77.3 million people elected President Trump to go and break what's been happening in America for the last 4 years. Prices out of control, 23% inflation. Their paycheck's not making it like it used to 4 years ago. President Trump run on the narrative that he's going to take care of the blue-collar worker. And we just passed the bill out of the House, as you know, last week to send to the Senate to secure the tax policies that are there and make sure that American taxes don't get raised. And that's really important for everybody.
Well, since you sit on the House Ways and Means Committee, we really wanted to talk about the economy with you, too. Congressman Kevin Hearn, appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.